For the past half an hour, I've been sitting in my room in complete darkness, writing down on paper the fights that I want to see before the end of April in 2020. Before the end of April, we're talking the first third. Let's cram these motherfucking fights in and make ourselves a wonderful beginning of 2020. Starting with Hakeem Dawodu versus Bryce Mitchell. Both featherweights on the rise. Hakeem Dawodu on a 3-fight win streak. Last had a big head kick finish over some Asian guy. Good win, but he needs to step up an opponent. I believe the perfect step up for him would be Bryce Mitchell, and vice versa. The perfect step up in opponent for Bryce Mitchell would be Hakeem Dawodu. They're each other's benefits. Hakeem Dawodu, Bryce Mitchell, amazing fight. Decide the next contender in the featherweight division. I'd love to see it. Moving on. Cody Stamann versus Rob Font. It was supposed to happen a while ago. Cody Stamann recently went through a razor close fight with Song Yadong recently, which a lot of people thought that he won. Cody Stamann won that fight, so if we want to reward him as a winner, Cody Stamann versus Rob Font would be an amazing fight to make, and the winner of that one can get the jump up the rankings that they seem to be looking for. Capiche? Cody Stamann versus Rob Font, you can cram that one in. Makhachev versus Hernandez. Kevin Lee just signed to fight Charles Oliveira, so that leaves Makhachev as the odd man out. It also leaves Alexander Hernandez as the odd man out, and that would be a perfect fight as an addition to UFC 249 in Brooklyn, either as the headliner of the prelims or, because Makhachev is such a big name, take a position on the main card. I'd love to see that fight. Moving on. Song Yadong, we just spoke about him after the Cody Stamann fight. Song Yadong versus Thomas Almeida. Is Thomas Almeida dead? I haven't seen him in ages. I feel like I'm always saying and asking if Thomas Almeida has recently passed away, because I'll be honest with you, haven't seen him in a very long time. Okay, and last time we saw him, he was out cold. So I worry for Thomas Almeida, I'll be honest with you guys. But I think a great fight would be Song Yadong versus Thomas Almeida. Amazing fight. Could get Song Yadong back on the winning ways. Could reintroduce Thomas Almeida back to the division. I remember a time when Thomas Almeida knocked out Brad Pickett, where he was the next big thing. Like, he was the undefeated guy coming through, about to take the division by storm. Little did we know, chinny chin chin. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's an amazing fight. Song Yadong versus Thomas Almeida. Moving on. Jeff Neal versus Santiago Ponzinibbio is also an amazing fight. I would love to see it. And we're going to get to some more interesting fights, by the way, guys. I'm just getting through some of the ones that I thought of. Jeff Neal, Santiago Ponzinibbio. Ponzinibbio looking to return, I'm sure, around the April time. Last got pulled out of his fight with Robbie Lawler due to an injury. Looking to come back and re-establish himself in the rankings of the UFC. Jeff Neal just got a big win over Mike Perry. Is it the kind of win that gets you ranked number 12? No, it's not. So I still think that Jeff Neal needs one more fight in the rankings, and it'll probably be beneficial to him as well, not to jump straight to the Wonder Boys of the world. Fight Santiago Ponzinibbio. Both guys streaking contenders. Both guys yet to get a real established win in the rankings. They're looking at each other for the established win in the rankings. I think that would be an amazing fight. Jeff Neal versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. Moving on. Cyril Gane versus Augusto Sakai. I know what you're thinking. Cyril Gane just fought. Cyril Gane fought 3 times in 6 months last year. Okay? He's a madman. He will fight again in the first third of this year, I'm guaranteeing you. Augusto Sakai needs a big fight. And he needs a fight in general. Augusto Sakai on a win streak, Cyril Gane on a win streak. Let's have them fight each other. Cyril Gane, in my opinion, would molest Augusto Sakai in a very Michael Jackson-esque fashion, if I'm honest with you guys. You know? Real bad. I reckon it would be terrible for Augusto Sakai, but then again, it's a good fight. Both ranked opponents. Amazing. Or Cyril Gane versus Sergey Pavlovich. Take your fucking pick, okay? I don't mind any of them. I'm just spewing out fucking amazingness right now. Till versus Brunson. Amazing fight. Needs to happen. Let's see it happen. Hey, UFC? Hey? Let's see it fucking happen. Darren Till, Derek Brunson. Let Till just clean his fucking chin off, yeah? Because we're talking Till versus Hermanson. That's a dangerous fight for Darren Till. If you want to build Till versus Adesanya, just let Till add a KO highlight to his record against... I keep discounting Brunson, but he keeps winning, which annoys me. I keep picking against him, but he keeps winning. But I think that Till would beat Brunson quite handily, and I think they're both the odd men out right now, you know? There's no one else sort of circulating around other than Edmund Shabazian, who just fought recently, and probably hasn't earned the top level of opponent yet. Let's be honest, he beat Brad Tavares. I know Brad Tavares is good. It's Brad Tavares. You know, like, it's not Gastelum. You know? It's Brad Tavares. Either way, I want to see Till versus Brunson next. Moving on, Gastelum versus Hermansson. Speak of the Devils, the pair of them, they should fight each other. Both of them coming off losses. Hermansson ranked number 6, Gastelum ranked number 7. Makes too much sense for me to even comprehend it in my brain. Gastelum versus Hermansson sounds like an amazing fight to make. Moving on, Shabazian versus Akhmedov. Akhmedov coming off a big win over Heinich. Shabazian, big win over Tavares. This is a great fight because not only can you put Edmund Shabazian on the prelims, second fight down in the prelims, or even headline the prelims of UFC 249, depending on the rest of the card, but you also have Akhmedov there as well, who looks like Khabib-ish. So he could maybe translate some fans just because he looks kind of like an offspawn of Khabib, to be honest with you. I'm not even too sure where he is from, but he looks like he could be Khabib-ish, which is good for UFC 249 where Khabib will be. Edmund Shabazian versus Omari Akhmedov. And also it slows down Shabazian's progression. You don't want to chuck this young kid to fucking world champions. You know? Just don't want to do that. Let's let him learn and let him whoop up on Akhmedov. Moving on. Ian Heinich versus Anderson Silva. I don't know what the fuck Anderson Silva's going to do next. And it seems like there's no one else that's sort of signing to fight him. So, if they want to do Heinich versus Anderson Silva, listen, I don't mind Anderson Silva's chances in that fight. I'll be honest with you guys. I feel like if Anderson wants a nice little comeback fight in against a ranked opponent, Anderson Silva versus Ian Heinich would be wonderful. It really would. I would love that fight. I'm sure you guys would enjoy it too. Moving on. Anthony Smith versus Glover Teixeira at light heavyweight. Amazing. This piece of paper holds the secrets to fuck the universe. I literally just spaced out and channeled my autism into this piece of paper and it's just come out with fucking amazingness left, right and centre. Anthony Smith versus Glover Teixeira. Again, amazing fight at light heavyweight. Both guys need a big win right now. Both guys coming off wins in their own rights. I think Teixeira's last win was against Nikita Krylov, I believe, on UFC Vancouver in September, if I'm remembering correctly. Anthony Smith last beat, of course, Alexander Gustafsson, Sweden, not too long before that. That's a great fight to happen next. Both guys are about one fight after this one away from a title shot, so they need this one fight, then they can work towards their title elimination bouts. But that's an amazing fight. Anthony Smith versus Glover Teixeira. Moving on. Shane Burgos versus Ryan Hall. Like, I just keep coming out with these gems. I can't stop myself. These are great fights. Shane Burgos versus Ryan Hall makes me just create liquid in so many ways. You know what I mean? Like, it's an amazing fight. Shane Burgos versus Ryan Hall, I feel like, could be the co-main event of UFC London. What would Shane Burgos or Ryan Hall want to do in London? I'll tell you why you're going to put them in London. Because we don't have a fucking co-main event in London. Okay? We have maybe Tyron Woodley versus Leon Edwards in the main event. And there's no co-main event other than Marvin Vettori versus Darren Stewart. Not on my fucking watch is that going to be a co-main event. I love those guys. I love both of them. They're both unranked. Slide in Shane Burgos, Ryan Hall, and they'll take the fight off of the incentive of being co-main event. Amazing stuff. Moving on. Nico Price versus Robbie Lawler. Oh, I'm so good. I'm just so good at this. People are talking about Lawler versus Jeff Neal. People are talking about Lawler versus fucking Luke Kay. Listen, shut your mouth. Nico Price, Robbie Lawler makes every level of sense. I know there's a card in between UFC 249 and the other fight that's not quite UFC 249 on the schedule. There's a gap within the first week of UFC April that recently got announced, and I can't remember where it is. I'm going to look it up right now. I'm going to look up UFC events right now, and we're going to find out what that fucking card is. I'll be honest with you guys. Where is it? There's a card that just got announced recently, and where is it? It is in the US on April 11th, and it's to be determined. Nico Price versus Robbie Lawler sounds like an amazing fight to have in the US on any fight night, maybe even a co-main event. Sounds like an amazing night for me. Moving on. Zabit versus Rodriguez. Put it on the UFC 249 main card. Or put it on the aforementioned event. Robbie Lawler versus Nico Price in the co-main event. Have Zabit versus Yair Rodriguez in the main event of that fight card. Amazing fight from me again. You're welcome. I know. I'm amazing at this. Moving on. Henry Cejudo versus Piotr Yan should be the co-main event of UFC 249. There isn't a lot of title fights on here. I know I could do Usman versus Leon Edwards. I could say all the fucking title fights that are coming up next. But these are just some of the ones that I thought of that are really fun for me. Okay? Cejudo versus Yan should 100% be the co-main event of UFC 249. I don't know why we're still having conversations about this. It should be signed and ready right now. Okay? And I won't be waiting any longer. Cejudo versus Yan, co-main event of UFC 249 in Brooklyn. Moving on. Aljamain Sterling versus Corey Sandhagen. What the fuck? Why did I put that there? Oh, okay. Apparently I thought Sterling versus Sandhagen would be a good fight. I actually think that a better fight would most likely be Sterling versus Moraes. That would be a much better fight, a rematch, a lot more interesting. And also Sandhagen could potentially take on a Jose Aldo or a Frankie Edgar or a Dominic Cruz. And here's the interesting part at the end of this. I also have Edgar versus Cruz on my list. Mix and match between Edgar, Cruz, Aldo and Sandhagen. And whatever outcome you come out with, whether it's Sandhagen versus Cruz, whether it's Sandhagen versus Edgar, whether it's Sandhagen versus Aldo, whether it's Cruz versus Edgar, Cruz versus Aldo, let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. I just needed to get this out of my head. I think those are amazing fights. Goodbye. See you later. Like and subscribe and that, yeah? That's 11 minutes. Jesus Christ, I literally just... I don't know. I just thought of them. And they were good. And I just kept writing. Because I was genius.